Hi Shruti, it's so good to have you on the episode. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm also doing great, and we would love to know about Sahai. And since Mia and Ann already know about Sahai, we would love for the audience to understand a bit about it. So you could go ahead and talk to people about what Sahai is.
Okay, so before
Yeah, so
Shruti,
hi.
okay,
Yeah,
never mind, never
go
mind. So
for
I
it.
just wanted to say that before we even met, I knew about Sahai because I was doing research on mental health companies, and Sahai was one of the companies that caught my eye because they were doing tremendous work on grassroots level. So this is what I wanted to say. You can please go ahead.
Thank you so much. That actually was like how we started talking, and it was so kind of you to even mention that because that was like, a full circle moment for me. But yeah, so hi, I'm Shruti Dewan. I'm the co founder of Sahai. For those of you that don't know, Sahai is a mental health advocacy organization that wants to spread awareness on mental health, wants to talk about issues that are not spoken about, especially in the Indian community, because there's so much stigma around mental health. People don't really know what it is, and even if they do, they don't know how to help others or themselves, right? And so basically our biggest goal is to provide accessible resources because it's hard to find good and inexpensive therapists, and also just connect people to each other and really understand that mental health is not, it shouldn't be a privilege, right? We all have mental health, so mental health care shouldn't be something that only the privileged can seek. So that is basically our biggest goal, and yeah, that's a little bit about us.
So, how did you guys started Sahai? Why mental health? So you are doing, I guess, data sciences or something in that IT field. From
Yeah.
IT, from data sciences to a different, absolutely different genre. How did you guys end up there?
So when I was 17, actually, I had a friend who is a year older than me in school, and she was volunteering for another organization, which was a mental health organization at that time as well. And she said, "Oh, I know you love content writing, so you should also come and join this. Like, you'll get to write content." And at 17, you take any opportunity that you get, right? And it was an opportunity to help people and also build my, sort of expertise in writing. So I said, okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I joined there as a content writer, and we wrote a couple of blogs here and there. But then soon we realized that me and her were in Bangalore. So we wanted to start something that was our own. At that time, me and her were both struggling with our mental health personally as well. And we felt like there was not one place that you could go to, especially in India, if you wanted to say understand mental health, but not just understand, know that the facts that you're reading are true and are correct. You're not just reading wrong information. And also, if I wanted support, where do I go? Like, there was not one page that had all of this, or one community where you could just go and get all of this, right? So this was a thing that we found that wasn't there, and we said we wanted to do something bigger than just write blogs from our experience, or just write blogs, that because we are not mental health professionals, but we can connect people to mental health professionals. So we said, why not start something of our own? So then we decided to part ways with that organization and start something of our own, and that's how Sahai was born. Sahai in Hindi means a supporter or companion, which is what we wanted it to be. We wanted to be a supporter for you, like a support system for you to find the right mental health resources.
I would want to understand that managing, being a co founder of an organization, like managing an organization in itself alongside a full time degree course, an internship, and a lot of other things. That makes me curious to understand how this affect your responsibilities as a founder, your decision making process, or your time management towards Sahai.
Yeah, so to give a little bit of context, like you said, I am in my final year of computer science engineering, so I'm doing B.Tech. I'm interning at a startup called Profius as a data science intern. Along with that, I'm also a certified yoga instructor, so I've been teaching on offline and online for over 3 years, and I also co-founded Sahai. So it definitely is quite a lot on my plate all the time. But I think what I've learned and what I've come to realize is that it's not about giving your 100% to everything all the time. It's about choosing blocks of periods where you can give 100% to something. I think people think balancing is about doing everything all the time, but I don't do everything all the time. There's periods where for like 2 weeks, I won't do Sahai at all because my work needs me to build a project that is more important. Or say I'm gone for a meditation course in another place where I'm teaching. So in those weeks, there won't be much work from my side towards Sahai, but that doesn't mean that we're not progressing somewhere. So I think it's more about deciding blocks of periods where this is what needs priority right now, and this is what I need to prioritize over the other, but not losing what progress you've made will only depend on whether you continue to keep up, whether you can go back after the 2 weeks and say, okay, now that I've taken the sem off, I need to come back and build something. And also, I think the reason that that works and how it has helped me in decision making is realizing firstly what is at priority and what is something you can do, but also I think making fast decisions, right? Because now that there's so much technology, now that everything is changing, like new landscapes, there's so many different things coming up every day. Even in the space of mental health, there's so many apps that are coming up, so many resources that are coming up. So to stay relevant, you need to make decisions that are extremely quick. So you don't have the luxury of time anymore, because you might
Right.
think of something, but if you don't execute it, soon somebody else is already doing what you're thinking. So I think just that trusting your own instincts and doing things fast has been something that I've learned over the course of few years.
So one very important thing that I could take from this is about prioritizing what needs your attention at the moment and making sure that you're giving your 100% there, which requires your
Yeah.
full attention at that point.
Yeah.
All right.
So how do you correlate yoga with mindfulness? So yoga is equal
I
to
think
mindfulness, I know that, but for the people who don't understand that same thing, so
I think yoga for me helps me bring myself back to the present moment. A lot of us are living either in the past or in the future. Even me, like a lot of the times I get so caught up in doing all of these things that I'm like, oh, in the past I've done this and this didn't work out. So in the future I should be doing this. I should be here in the 5 years. I should make all these manifestation things and then make vision boards and all of this. So we're constantly living either in the future or in the past. So I think yoga really helps keep me grounded, to bring me back to the present and say, okay, I'm here right now and I'm going to think about what I'm doing right now. If I'm, say, eating my food, do I like eating this food? Am I enjoying what I'm doing, instead of thinking about, oh, okay, after this I have this meeting, I have to do this. Like, instead of just always hurrying, I think it helps me take a moment to also be grounded in where we are currently and enjoy that. But apart from that, I think it has also really helped me stay consistent in the way I show up in life. Because when I started yoga, it was more so also about, oh, I want to learn how to do a headstand, I want to learn how to do a back bend. It was all these cool things, right? But then once you start doing it, you realize that it wasn't, not every day was I able to do a great back bend, but every day I showed up on the mat, and that was more important because that's how I got better at doing it consistently. So I think more than just about yoga, it's also taught me a lot about life and about being mindful in life, is that you just have to show up every day, no matter whether you're feeling sad, whether you're feeling, you can show up in that space, you can show up sad, but you have to show up. So I think that's what it means to me.
So I am a person who has been aware of, what yoga can, what changes or what transformation yoga can bring in a person. But I can't just bring myself to, get into this once, because I know for a fact that once you start with it, you get used to it and you start, as you mentioned about consistency. So that is something that comes as a part of the process. But I am aware of every such thing, but I just can't bring myself to get into this thing or begin with yoga or mindfulness for that matter. So, what is your suggestion for this?
I think one of the easiest ways is to start with a friend. Cult offers a lot of yoga classes, right? So if you have the privilege to do that, maybe just start with a friend. If not, I think just, maybe don't take somebody's word for it. It'll come to you when you need it. Like, I believe that a lot of times you try to start something and it doesn't work, but then when you're extremely anxious, or like when you're like, oh shit, I'm so unhealthy, you start working out because you're like, oh wait, this is needed in my life right now. So I would say, if you can't get yourself to do it, maybe don't push too much. But if you can, and you would like to start, there's a lot of great YouTube videos that you can follow along. There's, maybe ask your friends if they would like to go to a class with you. Maybe take online yoga sessions so you don't have to, travel so much. So make it as easy for you to do it as possible. A YouTube video is just, I turn on my phone, I put on, you don't even, and for yoga, the great thing is you don't need a space, you don't need gym equipment, you don't need any of that, right? So it's literally, you could have a bed sheet and you could start. You don't even need a mat. So I think just make it as easy for you to do it. And I think a lot of times we get stuck in, I have to start this and I have to do it for 30 minutes. I have to do it for an hour. But just, you don't have to. Just start with 5 minutes, start with 10 minutes, and then slowly increase from there. If you're going to set up goals that are extremely hard to achieve in the beginning, then it'll be really hard to start with. So you set up goals that are easy to achieve, which is what most like great minded people say that, right? They're like, oh, you just
Yeah.
start by making your bed every morning and then you'll already feel accomplished. So then you can
Hmm.
go on with more harder things. So same way, just start with putting on the mat and doing 3 poses, or just, like a 5 minute yoga stretch. And then start from there and then try to build it up from there. Because like you said, the starting is the hard part. But then
Right.
once you do that, you get into the routine of it.
Hmm. Understood.
Okay, so for me, waking up every day, going to the gym, reading a few books is what mindfulness is. So, what is mindfulness for you? Is it just yoga, or are there some other aspects in your life that makes you mindful?
I think, like you said, for me, there's a lot of things that come under mindfulness, not just yoga. So for me, it is waking up in the morning, drinking warm water, and just being present while I'm drinking warm water. I like to meditate in the morning as well as do a little bit of yoga. I also like to sit in the sun and read a little bit in the morning, just like 15 pages. Just to have a slow morning for me is mindfulness, and to have a slow evening where I can just wind down really slowly, going into, I don't think a lot of people think that a hot shower is mindful, but for me, taking a hot shower in the night before going to bed is just the most mindful thing I can do, because I'm fully present with my thoughts in the shower. And then when I come out, I feel so fresh, I'm ready to pass out like a baby. So I think that is mindfulness to me.
So, like meditation is something that makes you like really mindful and helps you in your day-to-day
Yeah.
task. So for me, like I had this stammering problem, and just doing meditation every day for 15 minutes, like I have reduced my stammering problems by 90%. So, do you think meditation helps in your other aspects in your life as well?
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, that's great to hear. Like, that's amazing. For me too, meditation has had a lot of benefits. I think, like I said, my decision-making process used to be really complicated. Like, I used to second guess every decision I made. I was like, I don't know. It used to take me so long to make a decision because I was so scared of making the wrong one. But then once I started meditating, I think decisions when it came to career, when it came to what I should invest in, what I shouldn't invest in, say decisions related to Sahai, what kind of collaborations we should do, things like that just became so much more easier to make because you had a clear mind and you would just have. So when you do meditation, your instincts increase in the sense that you're more aware and tuned to what your body or your mind is saying to you. So even if you had these instincts before, you were never able to really see them or understand them because you didn't have a clear mind. Your mind was foggy. But then once you started doing meditation, it's almost like all of that clears up for you to be able to see that you already had this in you. So that really changed in me, and I feel like I was so much more confident in the decisions I was making, and just in the way that I was going out into the world, knowing that this is what my morals are, this is what I want, and this is how I will work to get it. A lot of times we don't even know what aligns with us and what doesn't align with us for us to achieve something. So I think it helped with that a lot.
True. Also, one thing that people don't really enjoy the process of meditation. They think meditation
Yeah.
is all about taking deep breaths and like releasing those deep breaths. Like there is so much more than that. It is about being present on time. And like there are so many applications. Like Sadhguru recently launched one application. It is absolutely free. There is just, if you want better experience, you can go to Level Supermind, or there is this YouTube platform called Mahakatha. They like every day they post like an hour worth of video for you to like listen and meditate. So like how often should one meditate, and uh, yeah, how often should one meditate? That should be the question. Yeah.
I think if you can meditate daily, it's great. Even for 5 minutes, if you do it daily, I think it's amazing because it will definitely, you'll definitely see the change in just 2 weeks, I would say. But if you don't meditate every day, I would say at least 3 times a week would be a great place to start. And it doesn't have to be super long. Like you said, I think a lot of people think meditation is just sitting quietly and trying not to think about anything. But that's really hard when you first start, right? Because your mind goes all over the place. You sometimes fall asleep in the meditation, and I've had students say, I can't do this because I'm falling asleep to your voice. So I think it definitely comes with practice, but I think it's just giving yourself the grace to have that. So, and also I think maybe try doing guided meditations. There's a, like you said, so many apps now, and also on YouTube there's a lot of people that put out guided meditations. So, guided meditations is a great starting point because you're not just sitting silently with your thoughts and not knowing where to go, because somebody is guiding you through what you're supposed to be thinking, what sort of mindset you should have towards this, things like that. So that's a great place to start, and then from there you can build your resistance towards falling asleep. A lot of people, if like they feel like if I'm falling asleep, this is a bad thing, which it is, but it's not, in the sense that when you're meditating, to get to the meditative state you need to be extremely relaxed, and you only fall asleep when you're extremely relaxed, right? So the fact is you're getting to that place, you're just not able to hold in that place, which is why your body is going into deep sleep. So I think it's a great thing if you're falling asleep, because then you just have to build that resistance towards staying in a very relaxed space without dozing off. So I think guided meditations would be a great place to start, and then maybe you can build from there.
Yes, I just wanted to like ask a last question about meditation. So there are a few misconceptions, like you should be you should have apps like 100% focus while meditating, while while you're meditating, like you should have 100% focus. But on the other hand, it is about being aware of your thoughts. So what are those misconceptions regard around meditation?
I think the misconceptions are you have to try to think nothing, and you can't have any thoughts that come. And if they come, you have to categorize them as, oh, this is positive thought, so it's okay for it to come. If this is negative thought, I'm getting really anxious that, oh, this I'm not supposed to be thinking this. Why am I thinking this? I think that is the biggest misconception that people have is, oh, while I'm meditating, I need to have completely blank mind. But initially, when you start, that's not humanly possible for you to do unless you've already reached a certain point, right? So I think it's okay to have thoughts come up. The whole point of meditation is you're sort of taking a step back from the external world and you're just observing. You're not interacting with the world, you're not interacting with your thoughts, you're not thinking, oh, is this a good thought, is this a bad thought? You're just, as if you're an outsider in your own thoughts or in your own mind, you're just sitting back and you're watching them pass by. You see a thought come in, you see, okay, this is a thought. Say, I want to eat ice cream today. It came and it passed by. I didn't do anything about it. I didn't think anything about it. So it's okay that they come and go, and you don't have to categorize anything as good thought, bad thought. Like, none of that should be done. So no interaction with what thoughts are coming. It's just watching them and just letting them pass by. That's what meditation is, which is why also I think a big misconception is meditation is just sitting, closing your eyes and doing the meditation, right? It can also be meditation in everyday life. If I'm just going on a bus ride and I'm looking outside the window and I'm just, again, being an outsider to my thoughts and letting my thoughts pass by and not really paying attention to, is this a good thought? Should I be having this thought? Oh, I need to take action on this thought. If I'm doing that, I'm still meditating. I might have my eyes open, I might be looking outside the window, but I'm still meditating. So I think meditation should almost be like a way of life, not just on the mat.
Well,
So my question that I wanted to ask goes back to mindfulness again. So for me, journaling is a way that I take to whenever I have to, whenever I talk about mindfulness, for me, that relates to journaling. So my question is that how does someone understand how to, manage their emotions without being overwhelmed, but also avoiding suppressing their emotions? Because I take to journaling for that, but how is that possible for the normal person to make sure that, they're able to, basically, they're able to face their emotions and without them being overwhelmed?
I think that's a great question, and I love journaling as well. I've been journaling ever since I was in sixth grade. That time it was more so like, oh, this is what happened in my day, and I
Right.
made this
I
best
agree
friend.
with that.
Yeah, but then as you go along, you start to actually write about how things are going, how you're feeling, all of that, and then it becomes a meditation practice almost, right? But I think that's a great question in terms of what people can do to emotionally regulate. I think journaling, definitely, if that is something that you can do and you can find the time for, I think journaling is a great place to sort of let out your emotions without being consumed by them. Because in that moment where you're journaling, you're letting it out. But then once you stop journaling, you can go out into the outside world and not have your mind sort of think about that constantly. So I think journaling is a great place. I think another thing is knowing when to release the emotion. A lot of times, especially now when everyone's like, oh, you should feel all your emotions, you should express more, you should, let everything out. We often forget that not every place for us is safe to do that. Suppose I'm crying on the road, it's not safe for me to do that on the road because it's not a safe place. Nobody's there to sort of help me through that. It's honestly really uncomfortable because people are watching you cry and things like that, right? So I think letting out and not suppressing your emotions is very important, but also building safe spaces where you can do that is also very important. So for example, maybe your friends are a safe space for you to open up, so then you don't have to open up in a space where, so suppose something bad happened to me at work today, something that was emotionally very exhausting, and I would want to take a break from that and I would want to talk about it, but I can't talk about it at work because work is not a safe space for me. I can't let it out there. So what I do is I manage. I'm not suppressing the emotion, but I'm managing it and I'm holding it in till I reach a space where I can express that emotion or where I can feel that emotion fully. And that would probably be either home or when I come back from work and I call a friend and I'm saying, oh, so this is what happened, and I let it all out. So it's okay to sort of hold the emotion till you have a safe space to express it instead of suppressing it. Because in an ideal world, obviously, when the emotion comes, you feel it. But we're not living in an ideal world. In a real world, that's extremely hard to do.
Hmm.
To do is to hold the emotion till the time that you need to hold it, and then when you feel like you are in a safe space to express the emotion or to feel the emotion fully, then you express and feel it, because then you have the time, you have the space to actually understand what is going on and to feel the emotion as it passes. Otherwise, if you feel it in a space that isn't safe for you, you will hurry the process of feeling it. Oh, I'm crying, and then I need to stop in 5 minutes. But it doesn't work like that, right? Like, you cry till you need to cry and then the emotion passes. So I think putting those factors in does not help. So just being in a place where you don't have to have all these time factors, maybe, oh, who's looking at me, who's not, just being in a place where all of these are removed can really help you feel the emotion as and when it comes, but also not suppressing it.
As someone who is herself building a mental health based platform, do you sometime yourself feel that you're struggling with your managing your own emotions or your own mental health, and how do you navigate that process?
Yeah, 100%. At the end of the day, I'm human, so I definitely have stages, especially since I'm still very young and doing things that most probably normally people don't really do that young. I think it definitely gets a lot overwhelming, as well as I've had my own share of hard days, bad days, all of that. So it can be very hard to still show up completely normal in a lot of days. But I think what's important is having grace, which is what I tell myself, that I don't have to. I'm human. I don't have to 100% always be at my best. I can be at a 30%, and that's okay. Which I used to be really rigid about, and I used to feel really bad about initially, that, oh, I can't give my 100% to this. Oh, I'm like sad and everyone can see it. But then that's what makes me human. That's what makes me relatable. If I was somebody who would never get sad, then why would you listen to anything I'm saying? Because then we're not alike at all. But the fact that I'm sad and I still come and show up and I still do these things should only make me more relatable and more motivated for you to think that, okay, if she can do this, then so can I, because it's not like she's any different than I am. So I think that's what helped me, is being more vulnerable and transparent, but also knowing that that's not a weakness, so that's not something that you have to that you do this, but despite this you're this. But it's not despite, it's because you're able to be vulnerable, is that you're so brave. It's not despite being vulnerable I am brave. So I think coming to that conclusion was one of the most, like, it was like life changing things for me.
Is about managing your own emotions. But a lot of
Yeah.
times you talk to people, or there are situations around you that generate or that bring in that negativity, or that when you're talking to someone and someone's sharing, say, something that happened with them, which you can't really do anything about, but they just wish to share that with you, and that's bringing in a lot of negativity to you as well. So how to tackle such situations? Because you, being a friend, being, because it's important for you to be there for them, you're listening to all that they're sharing, but then that has an impact on your um, mental health, or how you channelize your emotions, or it makes your moods throughout the day very negative or very unproductive. So how do you handle such a situation? Because being a friend, you have to be there for the person, but then it's not really good for your own mental health as well.
I think that's a great question. I used to struggle with that a lot when I was, just starting out, and understanding what emotional regulation really means and stuff. Because, especially if you're an empath, you get very involved in
Right.
anything somebody is saying, right? Like anything that affects them almost feels like it happened to you and it's
Mhm.
affecting you. So I think one thing that really helped again was definitely meditation, but also something that helped was, again, staying, so you're present in their life, you feel what you need to feel as they're saying that emotion, you be there for them, but also knowing that you have to almost like, say you have one hand distance from the emotion. You need to keep
Mm.
reminding yourself that you're not in the emotion that they're feeling, because this didn't happen to you. So
Right.
taking a step back and thinking of it almost like an external world, and I'm interacting with it only as much as is needed, because this friend needs me and because I need to be present in this moment for this person. But I don't have to go completely inside the world. That is not my world. That is the external world. My world is the emotions that I'm feeling. And I'm feeling this because I'm interacting so much with the outside world. So I think just having awareness of that, like constant reminder that this is an emotion that this person is feeling, but it's not my reality. And that might sound as a harsh thing to say, oh, but like if your friend is struggling, but it's so important, because at the end of the day, your mental health, you can only help somebody as much as your mental health is good. If you ruin your mental
Right.
health because of something else that happens externally, then you anyway can't be there for that person. So it's almost like, to be there for that person, you need to make sure that you're emotionally regulated. And the only way to emotionally regulate yourself is to remove yourself from the situation, or keep a one hand distance from the situation, saying this happened to them, I'm going to be there because I fully feel your emotion, and I will fully help you in whatever capacity that I can. But it also means to say, if this is affecting me a lot, then I will take a step back from it, I will regroup, I will re-regulate, and then come back and help.
Hmm. That makes total sense.
Absolutely. So we have been talking a lot about mental health and mindfulness. Let's go back to Sahai a bit. Okay. So I guess it has been almost what 3-4 years since you guys launched.
Yeah, 4.5 almost.
4.5 years. So, and you guys are completely bootstrapped, raised. Like you guys had a Milab fundraising, I guess. Totally
Yeah.
non for profit. How has your journey been so far? Like
I think it has been great. I think lots of ups and downs and things that you learn that you would have never expected to learn, especially when we were initially starting out. I had just turned 18 when we launched, and as silly as it sounds, at that time I didn't even know how to make Google Forms, let alone lead a team of now over 50 people. So at that time, it almost felt like, oh, I'm so young. What? Why would you listen to me? Or like, why would you want me to be your leader when I don't even know how to create a Google form? So it was very new to me, the whole process. But I think you just learn really quickly, like things like branding, what logos, what color should we use, learning about color theory, learning about how to build in a space that is such a volatile space like mental health, which can have so much controversies if you do one wrong thing, say the wrong thing, say one thing that might be slightly controversial, it can lead to a lot of things. So I think navigating through that was definitely something that we learned pretty quickly. And I think at like through the journey of 4 years, I realized that it's not so much about, oh, you're so young, but it's about what you bring to the table. Like maybe there's things that I bring to the table that other people who are maybe older or maybe doing different things in life than I am do not bring to the table, which is why I am a good fit to lead a team like this, whereas they may be a good fit to be a part of the team instead of lead the team. So I think just understanding that and not getting so caught up or getting weirded out by the fact that I'm like half or more than half the age of half the people I was leading, it was quite a journey. And even the whole thing about learning the legal terms, how to get registered as an NGO in India, it's a long process. And when you get lawyers involved, you're like, oh wow, like this is getting serious. Uh, but I think that whole process was definitely something that we learned. We had a lot of struggles in terms of where do we go, who do we reach out to, because we don't know a lot of people that are in this space or getting NGOs registered on the daily, or how do they do it without sort of how do they do it with investing the minimum amount of money, right? Because we're also very young and we want to use our money instead of having say a loan or things like that. So I think that was also very important to us. And then we figured out fundraising. How do you fundraise on Millap? What kind of ways can you fundraise apart from just crowdfunding? And setting up a good network of people that you can reach out to say whole events, maybe in schools, colleges, communities, things like that. So I think it was just almost like a holistic development for me and Rishika, who's my co-founder. I think it was just so much learning curve for us. But now that we know these things, I think they're invaluable things that we will pass on to, say, anyone else that ever wants to start something like this.
Correct. So, like, mental health is a huge problem statement, and people really want to invest in this. Like, whenever I'm having a conversation with a VC, they are interested, but they're scared because we still don't have a single company who have made it big. So, why do you think that hasn't happened yet?
I think it is definitely because of the way the stigma around mental health, right? The fact that mental health is still not something that is widely talked about in smaller homes. I'm not talking about in India. There's still a lot of mental health, say people that are talking about mental health now in upper middle class communities. But if you go to the rural areas, they don't even know what mental health is. So to know about mental health is a privilege. And I think for something to go really big, say companies, it has to be something that is widely known. And if half of India does not know what mental health is, or does not even know that there's mental health care, or oh, okay, I am feeling sad, but what does that mean? I'm feeling sad for months. Does that mean I'm depressed? If they don't even have those thinking processes, then why would they even come to a platform that would provide? Because they don't even know it exists, right? So I think maybe that can be one of the reasons why it hasn't. And also, I think a lot of people are scared to invest in mental health because it's a controversial topic. It's a topic that you're not sure where it's going, because there's so much false information, there's so many things that are coming out that are really, it's something that isn't, it's a felt thing, right? It's not something that is, you can only put so much science to mental health, because even when you talk about depression, you know what depression is, you have symptoms of depression, you have, okay, this is what actually happens in your brain. But each person who's living with depression, and we've seen this as we go to different orphanages and do workshops there, is that two people who both are struggling with clinical depression react to different things in such different ways, or have reactions to, say, their own emotions in so many different ways. And scientifically you can't say so much about that. Even though they're both struggling with the same thing, they're reacting so differently. So it's definitely a volatile space, which is why I think it's harder for people to come up with solutions also that are generalized, right? Because each case is so different, which is why companies, even if no matter how much you try, which is also a sad thing about mental health, is that no matter how much you try, there will always be things that you can't account for.
One thing that I figured out in the like last few months is that most of the companies are trying to build it like a project, trying to
Yeah,
not make money out of it. Like the thing you guys are doing is tremendous. It will help people like us a lot. Of course, I'm gonna be very shameful about that, but like you got the thing is that people are perceiving this as a project. That okay, I want to
yeah,
fix this particular person. Okay, this is a problem statement. Clinical depression. थोप दो ये statement किसी rural area के लोगों के ऊपर. This is not how you perceive this, right? You should have a very vernacular approach while you are building something which is going to impact so many people. Like as you
yeah,
said, as you mentioned before, a normal person in a rural area won't understand what a mental problem is, but they surely
yeah,
understand what a breakup is. They surely definitely understand what it feels to get low marks in your examination, what it feels to fail. So I believe in that aspect, awareness should be generated, and that can only be done with the help of companies like Sahai, right? And
yeah.
also, yeah, please continue, Ali. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think going to the grassroots level is so important. A lot of companies just do, oh, we want to build mental health thing because it's something that people will invest in easily. And I think in the process, they lose that they started this because they wanted to help people. I've seen a lot of, say, companies or NGOs that work around the same space. But when you go and talk to the people of, say, the places that they have done events in, the schools or colleges, like when we go to colleges and we do events, our motive is one person needs to take something from this that will better their mental health, and that's all we want. We're not talking about, oh, we need 500 people to show up. We have gone to colleges and done workshops for 30 students, just 30 students, and that was great for us. Like we did not complain at all, because it's not about the numbers. I think a lot of companies get caught up in, oh, we need these many people, we need to make this as scalable as possible. But if that scale is not helping anyone, then there's no point of scaling it. Like you're just doing it to put a check mark on what, what, oh, I've gone to these many places, done this workshop. But if the workshop's not effective, then there's no point of doing it. So I think having that bigger goal, that okay, the bigger goal is that we need to make a change in somebody's life, is something that gets lost by a lot of people, and then they just run behind, oh, okay, we need to go to these many schools, we need 50 plus therapists on board, 20 plus companies that we've collaborated with. It's all about the numbers then. So I think that's what we try to keep ourselves grounded in, that it doesn't matter if we have that many numbers, as long as we can actually see the impact.
When do you think a person should go and consult a therapist? And let alone why a person should consult a therapist?
Okay, so I'm going to answer why first. So, actually, no. I'm going to answer when you should consult a therapist first. I think if you're thinking of whether I should take therapy or not, that is usually a good sign that you should take therapy. Because I think there is, again, a very big misconception that if I have mental illness or a mental disorder, or if I'm struggling with life or death situation in terms of mental health, only then I will consult a therapist or I will take therapy. But what we like to believe at Sahai is that you might not have mental illness, but you have mental health and you should take care of that. So it's not about, it's almost like when you fall down and you get hurt, you still put a band-aid on it. You don't go to the hospital and you do a surgery if it's not that important or if it's not that big, but then you still put a band-aid on it. So going to a therapist isn't like doing surgery. It's almost like going and then they're deciding whether you need a band-aid or you need surgery. So but you still do need to take that step to better whatever situation you're in, right? So I think it's when you should visit a therapist is when you feel like there are some things I would like to better in my life that would help me live my life better and would help me be more present in the way that I'm showing up in the world. Then you should take therapy, whether you're going through a very hard time or whether you're not going through a hard time at all. If there's something that you feel like you can better, whether that's okay, I get angry really easily, so I need to sort of understand where it's coming from, build more coping mechanisms that help me choose better coping than getting angry at something or getting really frustrated. Then that's still going to therapy will still help you, because it'll help you build that, it'll help you realize where it's coming from. So it doesn't always have to be, oh, I'm severely clinically depressed and I need to go to therapy. It can just be, I had a some incident happened to me that affected the way that I'm living currently, and I'm living in the fear. For example, some people, they get into a car accident and then they get really scared of driving cars, right? That is PTSD, but it's not clinical PTSD. You're not in life or death again, but that is something you would like to overcome in life in the future, because you would still like to drive again. So you can still take therapy for that. Say I got low marks in 3 exams consistently, and now it's really made my self-esteem drop, and I am severely anxious about taking exams because I feel like I would be doing something wrong. That's not life or death, right? But it's still important for you to take therapy then. So I think it's more so just when you feel like there's something you can better in your life by talking about it, by understanding where it comes from, by building better coping mechanisms for it, then you take therapy.
Great, great. So this session has been really helpful for us personally. Like there are so many things that I'm gonna personally use in my day-to-day life. So that sums up our podcast. And also, we'll be putting the Milap link on our description. So if any of you guys want to contribute, please go ahead. They are doing a great job. Follow their socials. Follow them on Instagram. Follow Shruti on LinkedIn. And yeah, anything you want to add up, Shruti?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I think this was a great episode, and I'm so glad that you guys are doing something like this and building a platform where people can come and share what they've started. I think it's great, and yeah, more power to you guys. And I hope that you guys just continue doing what you're doing. I love to watch and support.